Tired of roadblocks because you lack admin rights? What if you could overcome those hurdles and deepen your understanding of your SQL Server environment? A few weeks ago, I presented a new challenge in the DBA Challenges newsletter. The challenge was to build your own domain controller within your sandbox. Hi, I'm Luke, and today I'll build one from start to finish in just 4 steps. First, the environment that we're going to be using today is a virtual environment with Windows Server 2022 Evaluation Edition installed on a virtual machine. We'll then assign a static IP address to that machine, and then we'll go through the installation and configuration of Active Directory domain services, and then finally we'll finish with configuring a DNS. So let's go ahead and switch over to the demo environment and go ahead and start up our machine. And the machine we're going to be using today is DC1, so that's the only one I'll start. I have went ahead and built out the environment for upcoming DBA challenges. In the month of September, we're building out a Windows Server failover cluster together. So if you're interested in that, be sure to sign up. I'll put the link down in the description of this video. So here we've got our brand new virtual machine, and I'm going to go ahead and go into full screen so that we can see it. And the first step we're going to do is go ahead and open up Server Manager. And we're going to go up to Manage and then Add Roles and Features. It's still collecting inventory. We'll go ahead and give it a second. Give that another try. And now we've brought up the Add Roles and Features wizard. We'll go ahead and click Next. Next. Select a server or a virtual hard disk on which to install roles and features. We're going to do it on this server, so DC1 is selected. We'll go ahead and click Next. And the role that we want to install is Active Directory Domain Services, and you can see that it's going to add several other features: remote server administration tools, role administration tools, ADDS and LDS tools. One thing you want to make sure that is checked is include management tools, and then go ahead and click Add Features, click Next. Next again, and then we're going to go ahead and select Restart the destination server automatically if required, and click Install. So this takes just a few minutes, and then you'll notice up here in the right hand corner under Notifications there will be a warning sign. This doesn't make the server a domain controller. This just installs the roles and features to be able to support a domain controller. The next step will be to promote it. Go ahead and click Close, and now we can see that we have our warning symbol up here. Let's go ahead and click on this and then click Promote this server to a domain controller. And we'll go ahead and go through the wizard. Since this is the first domain controller in our environment, we're going to go ahead and set up a new forest, and we're just going to call this one homelab.local. Click Next, and I can post a link to this challenge as well, because there's additional information in that newsletter edition. If you have questions about what is a new forest or domain in an existing forest, you can check that out. And there's a few links inside that edition that will take you to Microsoft to show you more details on that. Our next step is to create a password once it finishes, and that password is in case you ever need to place your domain controller in emergency maintenance mode. then you can use that password to do so and then restore from a backup if needed. We won't cover that today. We're just going to provide a password. Go ahead and click next. And you'll notice you'll get a warning: a delegation for this DNS server cannot be created because the authoritative parent zone cannot be found. That's because there's no DNS server currently in this environment, but we're going to configure one. Go ahead and click next. And the NetBIOS domain name, HomeLab, that's perfectly fine. Click next. A lot of this is just click next. We can do this through Ansible playbook. If you're familiar with this channel, you know we do a lot of videos over Ansible and Windows and SQL Server. If you're interested in a video like that, then just let me know in the comments and I can put that together. So specify the location of the ADDS database, log files, and sys volume. We're going to leave everything on the C drive. If you were doing this in production, which you probably wouldn't be if you're a DBA, you wouldn't be doing this in production, but you would typically put that on a different drive. Click next. We're okay, we don't need to see the script, but you can review that script, that PowerShell script, by clicking here, View Script. Click next. It's going to check a few prerequisites. We're going to get a few warnings. All prerequisite checks pass successfully. Click Install to begin installation. We're going to go ahead and click Install. And then you will see the server restart. If you're doing this at home, just expect that to happen. You can see there that DNS was installed. The DNS server was installed. You'll get a notification that you're about to be signed out. All right, that first reboot may take a few minutes, but after that, it should be good to go. Next, we'll set a static IP address for this server. But first, let's take a look at our virtual network. And we want to assign an IP address that's not within the DHCP range that VMware Workstation is assigning. So you can go up to Edit and then Virtual Network Editor. And then I am on VMnet 8, the NAT network, the NAT type network. And then you can click on the DHCP settings and you can see that the starting IP address is 88.128 all the way through 254. So we want to pick an IP address that's outside of that range. I'm going to go with .3 because .2 is actually used as the gateway. So we'll just do that manually. We'll go into network settings. Or Ethernet settings. And then go to change adapter options. And double click on your connection properties, and then we're going to change it for the TCP IPv4. You can see right now that we're getting an IP address automatically. So let's go ahead and click on use the following IP address, 168.88.3. And then our default gateway is going to be .2 in this environment. Yours may be different. Just make sure if you're using VMware Workstation, just make sure to take a look at that virtual network editor to see. Once we have everything, you can leave the preferred DNS server as itself. It's a loopback address. Just leave that as 127.0.0.1, and you'll see why in just a second. Click close, close again, and now we're going to go and configure DNS, and we do that by jumping back into the server manager. We're going to go to tools, and now you can see that we have a lot of different tools here: Active Directory Administrative Center, Domains and Trust, Module for Windows PowerShell, Sites and Services, and Users and Computers. We'll jump into that one in a second, but let's go ahead and go down here to DNS. and you can see our forward lookup zones. We do have our domain homelab.local, but go ahead and right click on DC1, click on properties, and what we're going to do is set up a forwarder. So a forwarder is used to forward requests for host name resolution that maybe the host doesn't reside in this environment. So for instance, if I needed to resolve google.com, then of course that IP address or that DNS record would not be on my local DNS server. So we want to forward that to another DNS server, and that DNS server could be your ISP, it could be Google, it could be Microsoft. We're actually going to use one that's well known from Google, and that IP address is 8.8.8.8. We'll go ahead and click OK, and then apply. Let's see, the server forwarders cannot be updated. The IP address is invalid. We want to get rid of that one. Let's try that again. Click OK, and then apply, and then OK. So now we can just go to a browser, and let's just make sure that we can get out to the internet, or actually resolve the host names. We're just going to go to Google. So that works. We can go to YouTube, and we can go to automatesql.com. So I mentioned DBA challenges. You can get there a couple ways. You can go to automatesql.com and then click DBA challenges, or you can just go to dbachallenges.com and see that. And here's where you can sign up. All right, so we can get out to the internet. DNS is working. It's resolving host names that do not reside in our local domain. So let's jump back to Server Manager, and we're going to take a look inside of Active Directory users and computers. So we can see we do have a domain called homelab.local, and we have the standard folders here, computers and users. So that's basically, that's a simple installation in 4 steps. We created a virtual machine, assigned a static IP address. We should have done that as step 2 instead of step 3, so remember to reverse the order. Install and configure ADDS, and we configured DNS. In the next video, we'll actually build 4 more virtual machines, SRV1 in these 3, and then we'll actually use Ansible to join those to the domain. So if you're interested, come back for those. You can go ahead and subscribe, get notified whenever I have those in place. And again, all of these are challenges for the month of September and 2024. So be sure to sign up for that newsletter as well. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.